View for Diablo 4 Lord of Hatred. So I have been able to make it to Torment 5 with this character, but I want to go over my thoughts, my opinions on everything that's in there. First off, the story for this game is fantastic. Like, I really love the story. The story is great. It really caps off the Mephisto arc. I feel like they brought important characters back. This is non-spoiler, by the way. I'm not going to spoil the story. They made more... You made characters that I didn't care for in the other parts mean more in here. They created a new area. Mephisto had more of an impact. They fixed my issues I had with Anarius. Lilith's part in the story is very good. It might have been different if I played it with the Paladin, but you don't really know. One thing is they don't really tell you like how the Paladin comes back or how the Warlock is around. I feel like one thing they should do is introductory stories. I think it would be really cool for you to be introduced to like how characters end up where they're at. Now, some things they did really well with this version. So 80% of the game got fixed. One, you can go into Timus, and this one town has the pit. You have the Undercity. You have the Obel's chick. You have all your bounty hunters. You have the healer, which I never used. You have the occultist here. You have the jeweler here. The alchemist, which I don't really think is needed anymore. You have your grim favors. You have your stable. You have your rings and amulets. You have your vendors. You have your training grounds. You have your wardrobe. You have all these here. Very good to have these in here. The new way of doing endgame is here. So you have war plans. Which I do wish that they had more of like stuff that you can move them around, because you can't really move stuff around too much, because there's a lot of things I don't like to do that you're almost forced into doing, and that I could do without being forced to do stuff. But you then now have skill trees. So I do have another point, so we can go here. You go here. So every event has their own skill tree. My only issue that I have with this would be you have to re-level it for every character. And I have 11 characters right now. So every character that I'm using, I have to then redo it every time. So there's that. Very good. And look, it even shows you on here. It will highlight stuff that you're doing. Let me show you the difficulties there is now. So let's go over here. The one thing I will probably not show is fishing, because I don't do it. But you can probably show fishing. So you can have up to Torment 12. This is the one everybody says to go to, those Torment 10. Okay, so let's see if we can find the fishing spot. I think it's over here.
Haven't you heard?
we will go here. I am going to mention in a second, like, one of my gripes that I do have. But let's show some gameplay real quick. Because look, I have this flame thing, and then we can show the charms too. So we have the eyes that we put down. I have the flaming swarm that goes around me. But then I have these turrets that you can throw, and they can go like that. We also have the washing machine, which it's called. You can have multiple of those. See, look how that goes. See? I also do have the ability to throw these guys, but I normally don't because they spawn. See, you can throw them, and then you can just keep throwing them, but I'm not going to do that because I prefer having a bunch of them. And I will go over my gear that I have once we get... Okay. So this is like the fishing thing. So you click on this. You caught a fish, and then you do it again. You wait for the icon to come up, and then you'll just... And then we'll just do it one more time. So... There. There. I caught a fish. I finished that quest. Alright. We'll go back to Timus. Alright, we'll go back to Timus and I'll show you guys the gear that we have. We'll do the gear and we'll do the skill tree. We'll do this. We'll probably do the gear first and then we'll do the skill tree. Look, I got an engagement ring. It's worth one thing. Okay, so for the gear, let's start at the top. We have our Archon helm. So it has 1,000 life. It could be better. Cold resistance, cooldown reduction is at 8%. I mainly have it because it's +2 to my demonology skills. I also have damage over time, grades damage reduction, and I can summon a spirit wolf. That's essentially why we have it. This one we have Agram's Schism, which I have transfigured, and I have it the way I want it. We'll look for an upgraded version of it. It's a unique chest armor, 123 willpower, 2,789 armor, 12.6% healing, 666 poison resistance, +5 item quality. The real reason you want this is Agram and its summons deal 40% times 30 to 50% increased damage, and you summon another one. So I can have 2 of the main demons instead of 1, and you'll know why you want that once we get to the demon tab. Alright, our demonic gloves is a fire damage multiplier, which we're doing fire damage with some of our abilities, as well as each hit with demonology increases the damage you do with demonology skills by 2.4%. Almost all of our skills are demonology. Attack Bliss, which is an ancestral, it's +4 to my command fallen, It has X 3000 armor, has +3 to my potion capacity, and has life regen. Our boots. Our boots need to be upgraded, but it's 88 willpower. We got maximum life in there. We got 935 to armor. Evade grants movement speed for 1.5 seconds. The legendary power on it is every seconds distant enemies are pulled into you and take 15% increased damage for you. This cannot affect while you are in stealth. Our weapon is a legendary flail, does 1730 damage per second, 110 weapon damage, 146 willpower, almost 2000 life. Lucky hit will bring our primary resource back, plus 40% to demonology damage. So as you can see, I'm going with demonology, more demon damage. Skills empowered by volatility, deal an additional 40% in increased damage, and you have a 35.2% chance for volatility to persist. And I also have an all damage multiplier gem in there. You want that because your fire skills, a lot of them can do the volatility damage. So we're going to go this way because I want to save that one towards the end. Lorcan's Talisman is the amulet I have, which is 157 to all resist, 128 willpower, 1687 maximum life, 34 times 34% critical strike multiplier, almost 50%, plus 2 to Hellfire skills. Critical strikes deal 126% times increased damage of your critical strike. Very good. This ring, the Demonic Circle, you have plus 51 to willpower, plus 72 to life regen, plus 2.5 critical strike, fire damage multiplier, times 10%, 31% hellfire damage. Each hit with demonology will increase the damage. So now you have damage from demonology here and on 2 other pieces of gear. This is the same. You get wrath that for every 10 kills, shadow multiplier, resource regen, demonology damage 29%. And then each hit with demonology skills will increase it again. So we're doing good there. This is a very good item to have right here. So with the chest piece and with this, you're set up for success if you're doing the minion build, because this is not an apocalypse build or shadow. This is straight minions if you want to have like a whole army of minions. That's what we're going for. So we have Aya Ball, which is a great item, I think. It's 2,148 damage, 144 weapon damage, 210 willpower, 2171 life, times 43% damage over time multiplier, 44% demonology damage. So this is the affix you want on there. Soul shards and their skills, on their demon skills, deal 76%. So 60 to 80% damage. Casting a soul shard skill increases your damage by 10%. So because I have 2 demons, main demons out, they are constantly doing the skill shard damage. So that, and it's also an all damage multiplier on there too. So we go over here. What I'm doing is I'm doing the Legion shard to do Aggrum. So his is increasing lesser demon skills, cast speed, and their cooldown is reduced. When 200 of your lesser demons die, there's no dominance. But what I did is you go down here. Aggrum now passively spawns a vile child every 0.5 seconds and deals 90% damage. No longer spews vile children, instead causes them to explode. So you can do corpse explosion, but I do not do that because of what's on the one previous. The one previous, we were able to go and do extra damage because of the skill shard. So this increases the damage. So it's more than 90%. It's 90% times 2. So let's go over and let's look at our skills. Let's look at it a big way. So I have 20 points as a molten bomb, and then I turned it here into a turret. So now it's a demon turret. And then we did molten bomb deals up to 40% increased damage, how far it travels. And then molten bomb's area is increased. So the area is increased and it does more damage. And then we went over here to Command Fallen. We have that at 30. We went here. Command Fallen becomes a Hellfire skill and passively summons the Lunatics. So every 3.3 seconds, I can summon more of those guys on the ground. And then here we have, they deal increased damage for every demon you have active. So I have about 15 demons out at once. So that's going to increase damage. 20% deals 1% increased damage per demon up to 20. And then over here we have your demons summoned by Command Fallen. Deal 8% increased damage for every second they're alive. So that's another reason why I don't make them explode. And then I go here. We have this, but I don't use it because bombardment I didn't really care for. I avoided these. You can, if you wanted, do the sigils that are over here. So what I went this way, and we went to Profane Sentinel. We have it at 26, which they're like these eyes that come out and they'll do damage. So they do 396,000 damage every time. And then I moved it to here. You can summon multiple sentinels, but they no longer redirect their gaze. They deal 373,000 damage and fire an extra blast. And then over here, I have it make them vulnerable, and then the beams are larger. It's 125% larger. Now, there are a bunch of these skills that I could go into because they're... but we're not going to. So I'm not using any of these sigils, even though this one, Sigil of Summons, is very good because you can have more demons. You just drop it and you can take more people out. I could possibly go into that, but I'm not going to. So here we have our ultimate is Terror Swarm. I have it at 25. And the Terraform deals 1,334,000 and spews an additional swarm that does 266. But what I did is I turned into a Hellfire, so it spins around you and does 615,000 damage. And then here, Terraswarm spawn and instantly kills 3 lesser demons every second. Terraswarm now bites an additional time. So what this is it spins around you. We're going to show you on the tree. We're going to show you on the training dummies. Alright, so let's go to Paragon, but let's go... So for the first board, I want the route to give me damage, plus 20% damage, more damage. All these are damage nodes. And then I went up here. I have... This one is for Demonology. So for every willpower you have, your Demonology is increased damage. So, and then we have more. We have Strength, 30% damage to elites, 2.9 to Demonology powers. And then I went up here, and you're gonna want to go this way first. Go up to the legendary power. Each demon you have summoned in the last 6 seconds increases your damage by 15%. So if you're constantly summoning your demons, you can decrease your damage. And then over here we have armor, plus 20% damage and armor. Another 10% damage if the requirements are made, which they are met. And then I go this way, and we have demonology damage. There's more demonology damage. That's the yellow node is 35% demonology damage. And then there's critical strike, more demonology, and critical strike. We went up here, and you got armor, more armor and resistances. We went here. I went to this side because this is going to give us healing. We have 2 more that we could probably put in. So that's maximum life and healing received, more life, and then we went over here, and our node that we have is Demonologist. 33.8% demonology damage. 17% increased damage while you have a greater demon summoned. I always have a greater demon summoned. And then over here you have more demonology damage. That's a 6.1% and a 17%. Then I went up here to do more demonology. So as much demonology damage you want in this tree. While we're over here, bop, and bop. While we're over here. This tree is all hellfire. So I went here for resistances. So this whole cluster is all resistances and armor. We got the legendary node. Hellfire skills deal 450% increased damage to healthy items. I have 3 skills that are all hellfire damage, so that's good. Then we went over here, and that's more healing. That's just charred flesh, so that's more life and more armor. And then we went this way so we can get more healing and more healing. Go up here. And that's the burn node, so that's 15% increased hellfire damage. More hellfire damage. More hellfire damage. So then there's still I still got more nodes I can put in here. But right now, we're doing pretty good. And we're going to showcase this build off right now, I believe. I normally don't go to this one, so we'll just showcase it right now. And we'll go into the training grounds so I can showcase what we're doing. So let's go to the training dummy. And there's that. See, just them alone, look at all that damage. That is just them. And then you throw these guys in. And that increases it even more. And then we can drop our turrets. See, there's our turrets. And then you got the profane eyes, and I can drop 2 of those. And then you drop the washing machine down. And I think you could drop 2 or 3 of those. And then if we change this to multiple training dummies, so I can show you guys so then you have the fire, see? And as you're going with this, just take that down and you can just take out a whole bunch. And let's go with the boss. But this isn't even the best way to showcase it. You know what we're going to do? We're going to go... Where's one of the bosses? We're going to go to the Hall of the Penitent, and we're going to showcase it that way. So I'm going to show you guys. We're going to go after one of the bosses, and then we'll go from there. So as you're going, you just turn this on. Put those. Drop these. So you drop the eyes. And you'll just continue on. See, I'm going to wait a couple seconds because I'm going to show you, Case, the best way to use this ability. Okay. Alright, so now we can summon him. And then we're going to put the fire on. We're going to drop the profanes. We're going to drop the turret. And look at that. Easy, just like that. That is exactly how you need to do it. See if we get anything off the lair key. So all you have to do is drop your abilities. Everything is it's a passive build. So you drop them, you let them do the damage. You don't worry about doing the damage. It's all based off your stuff. And see, I keep getting better legendaries and stuff, but I don't want to lose that thing. So, and then with the cube, you can go here. Like, I don't know if I actually can change anything. See if I can take this. No, we can't really do anything with that. I might be able to do charms, though. So that's vigorous, hellfire. Hellfire. So if you have 3, you can do... Like, let's see. If we put that in there... Yeah, you gotta have 3 of the same type to do it, so... But the cube is very good. Everything, I think, is very good. I think they fixed the game. They put it in a place where it needed to be, and now it's, like, in such a better space. But these are my thoughts and opinions. You can also catch me streaming on Twitch at crazyherorise.tv. You on TikTok at crazyherorise. We stream every single day except for Thursdays. Thursdays is the only day I do not stream, but you can always catch me over there. And just come by, say hi, and we are always doing ARPGs and RPGs. And we will be doing Diablo 2 Resurrected this Friday. Diablo 2 Resurrected this Friday at 7 p.m. Alright, I'll see you guys then.